I'm Antonina Roll-Mecak, and I'm the head of the Cell Biology and Biophysics Unit at the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke at the NIH in Bethesda. My lab is interested in understanding a very basic component of the cell, the microtubule cytoskeleton, and it is a network of very elaborate filaments that give the cell its structure and help it move, and at the same time they form an elaborate highway system that allows the cell to move cargo, energy packets from one point to the other so that the cell can survive and change in response to the ever-changing environment. I was born in Romania. I came to the US in my late teens. It was a revelation to be in the US and to be in a place where everybody is free to say whatever they want. Most of my childhood was spent in the Romania of a communist regime. Your mind couldn't really wander freely, and you can definitely not speak freely either. And I'm really grateful to my parents that who encouraged me to do that. I always understood that I had to do that behind the closed doors of our home and never outside in school and society. I was not that interested in science or school when I first started elementary school. In fact, I was considered not so academically gifted, and I really hated doing homework. I really liked to explore and be outside and look at plants and go into the woods and watch animals and just have fun. And at some point, I really became interested in math, and partly because my dad would tutor me in math. Math came very easily to me, and I started enjoying doing it. I became really good at it, and so it evolved in doing physics and chemistry. I initially toyed with the idea of going to medical school, almost did, but I met a scientist who was doing molecular dynamics and computational computational biology, and I got really interested in what they were doing, worked there in college, and decided to go to graduate school in molecular biophysics. I started my lab at the NIH in 2010, and I have now 7 people in my lab. We are doing a lot of things that nobody has done before, and many of things we don't know how to do, and we kind of have to figure it out. My students and my postdocs are sometimes they're like, well, I don't know how to think about this. We've looked in papers and we cannot find anything. And I tell them, well, you're the person that's going to set the standard of how you're going to do that. So think about it, and it's not something that's been done before. And that's what I find exciting, and I think that's what they find exciting. So one of the reasons I love this job is because every day is different. I meet with people in my lab, I talk to them every day. We talk science, or we talk about their projects. I spend a good deal writing papers and reviewing papers, and I am trying to be very good about still doing experiments at the bench. I think that's the hardest challenge for a lab head, because there are always other responsibilities that are also interesting to tackle, and those actually take away from being able to be at the bench. What I really love about working at the NIH is that I can concentrate on research 100% of my time and on educating the people in my lab. I cannot imagine doing anything else for a living. I find this an incredible privilege to be able to do this. The standard of living of people in the last 100 years has increased and is higher than any other time in human history because we have made progress in science. And I'm grateful to be born at this time where actually there is an infrastructure that allows people to do research and then translate that research into findings that will help everyday life.